Hey guys, so recently I played through a prototype of Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. Interestingly, this was actually used for kiosk demos back in 2004. But it's very interesting, since it has quite a few differences from the final game, and the localization wasn't complete yet. This build is dated June 21st, 2004, which is technically 4 days after the retail build of the Japanese version of Thousand Year Door was complete, but there is some unused content that wasn't present in the Japanese version, so this demo was likely created a bit earlier than that. So we're at the Star Crystal field. Okay. Well, here we are, the Petal Plains. I thought we were at the Star Crystal Fields, where folks say a Star Crystal hides. Woohoo! Here we go, Mario! The start of our adventure. This is completely awesome. Woohoo! The smiling friends are back! But we got a star piece, a lovely piece of a star, and a mushroom, a feel-good mushroom that replenishes 5 HP. Okay, so some of the dialogue here is a little different. Some of it is, like, basically the same, but, like, less fleshed out. But I kind of wanted to look at some of the differences here. Oh! I need to do Goombella's overworld tattle. Normally, I'd have something witty and insightful tip to share with you here, but I'm saving it for the final version. That's a more simple way of saying they haven't finished the localization for that yet. But this is pretty interesting. And I mean, the battle system is pretty much the same. There might be some, like, very minuscule, like, stat differences and things. Well, there are enemy name differences in this build, and I'll show those in a little bit. There's actually some pretty funny ones. But the ones that you would expect to be the same are the same. Oh, the star points, text that pops up, that's different. Okay, let's get the Paragoomba. You made the first strike. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that text is different too. Editing Reese here, that is correct. In the final game, it says you struck first. This text is actually the same as Paper Mario 64, where it also says you made the first strike. Okay, let's do the tattle for the Paragoomba here. That's a Paragoomba, basically a winged Goomba. Yeah, you can see that looks unfinished there. There's like a gap between the text that's kind of weird. You can't hammer it while it's flying, but rough it up and it will totally plummet. But this is newer than that E3 build. If you've seen that early trailer of Thousand Year Door, there are, like, this is like a slightly newer build of that. And also, I noticed that the badges are kind of, like, equipped automatically. Because when you go into the menu, it doesn't, like, really show that many details. Like, actually, let me go into the menu here. Yeah, see, it only shows, like, the party members here. But let's read the description of Goombella here. Goombella's hero is Goomelda, the wisest of female Goombas. Press X to ask her about where you are or about enemies you beat in battle. Isn't up there. Actually, could you still get the Hooktail from this? I don't think so. I don't think so. This is actually for a kiosk demo, and I think this is actually quite good for a kiosk demo in terms of content here. I mean, and it is also from the early 2000s as well, and I mean, it seems like they handled that type of stuff better back then anyway. Though I would say, some of the Switch and Switch 2 kiosk demos have been fairly good as well. Anyway, Green Boots. Have you ever heard of these things called star crystals? It's kind of funny to see, like, the earlier names here before it was, like, fully localized. We're on a quest for them. It's very important. Star crystals, you say? Nope. Can't say I have. Sorry about that. Oh, and actually, one interesting thing is that the background is slightly different. It's very slight, but it's slightly different. Oh man, Hooktail's castle. The stories were all true. This place is terrifying. By the way, Mario, the bridge is out up ahead. First, go in this building and use the jump platform to go to the second floor. Stand on the pedestal in the second floor and press Y to become a paper airplane. So if you were wondering why Koops was saying all that when he wouldn't even know what plane mode was at this point, this is basically just the demo recontextualizing the chess demon's dialogue to kind of add a little tutorial for plane mode. It's just kind of funny the way it looks in-game. Let's read Koops' description here. Koops wants to be tougher for his girlfriend, Koopy Koo. Press X to shoot out his shell and retrieve distant items. The dread Hooktail cannot tolerate creatures that begin with F and end with ROG. Interestingly, at this point in localization, Hooktail's weakness was still a frog like the Japanese version, rather than a cricket like the final English release of the game, and when they changed her weakness back to a frog, the dialogue is actually very similar to this version, but just one word added on. Okay, let's read Goombella's dialogue here for the Petal. That's a Koopa skeleton. It was a Koopa Troopa once. Not only do these creeps throw bones at you, but they can clone themselves. I think it's funny that there's Koopa skeletons. It sounds like something like the Deke Mario cartoons would call dry bones. That's a red Koopa skeleton. Says here, these are special. If you knock their HP down to 0, they crumble, but they revive, like zombies. It's probably for the best to eat the ordinary Koopa skeletons before going to the red one. Hey, and remember Koopa skeletons can create reinforcements, so watch out. Wasn't paying attention there. Oh, does it soft lock you into this part? Yeah, when you just press yes, it loops into the next. So it turns out that this is actually an error because yes and no are supposed to be swapped, with yes appearing at the bottom. So when you press yes in this demo build, it thinks you're pressing no and loops back into the tutorial. And what if you press no? Yeah. Okay, that's actually really funny. The curse just, like, the curse is the end of the demo. That's actually amazing. So it turns out, I accidentally perfectly timed the Chess Demon's dialogue option with the demo ending timer. It was just a really funny coincidence. Wait, I need to switch to Goombella for this. Boomer Ganger! That's literally all she says in this one text bubble. Boomer Ganger. That is incredible. They drink these weird drinks to get all big and burly, then freak out. If there's 2 or more, they're totally scary. Finish them quickly. Boomer Ganger. Is that what they're called in the Japanese version? Or are they called something different and this is just a weird localization moment? But I think the name is just really funny. And I just like the only thing that Goombella says in that one text bubble is Boomer Ganger. Okay, let's look at the Pale Piranha's tattle here. Oh, my bad. It's just a piranha plant in this version. They're famous around here. Since they face up with an open mouths, they'll bite you if you jump on them. Plus, they migrate from the floor to the ceiling. So they're a real pain in the tush. I'm guessing that was meant for another enemy? Cause Cause that is not something that piranha plants or pale piranhas do in Thousand Year Door. Pretty sure that's an unused feature. Huh, that's interesting. I'm guessing it might have been like maybe the original intention was for like any like piranha plant enemies. Like I could have seen them maybe like spawning in like a pipe or something, and there's also like a pipe on the ceiling as well, and they kind of like spawn in between the two. So after I played through the 3 sections of the North American demo, Fawful the Great sent me the Japanese version, and also a cheat code that disabled the timer, so I was able to explore a little more. And that's interesting how it uses like a title screen, like kind of closer to the final title screen. Imagine a Paper Mario 64 / Thousand Year Door mod that's written like the Minecraft movie. This sounds horrible, actually. I don't know if I want to see that. Yeah, that would actually be funny. And just awful at the same time. Yeah, like when you do a tattle on an enemy, Goombella just says that enemy. Or Goombario if it's 64. Oh, it goes into the Bowser thing. I guess that makes sense as they like promoted this a lot in the advertising for Thousand Year Door. Like both the remake and the original game. Okay, does it just play like the Bowser demo? And I guess it still had the timer on. I'm not sure, because I did have the cheat code in. I'll have to see. I'll play the Hooktail Castle one again. I love how you're playing like Sticker Star right now. Yeah, I mean I might as well because like because I already have the stats and items to beat Hooktail, so I don't really need to get leveled up past this point. Because I usually beat Hooktail on much lower stats than the stats that I have right now. It would have been cool to see what this cutscene looks like in English, but, well, with the text and everything being slightly different. But I guess it is cool getting into this version in, like, or getting into this part in some version of the demo. Okay, let's beat Hooktail. No, wait, does it stop at Hooktail, or does it, like, still have the fight? Let's see, Hooktail. Wait, did they just not have the music for Hooktail? This is so cursed. This is so cursed. There's just no music at all. This is so weird. It kind of reminds me of the time when I played the remake, and there was like around the time the game first came out, there was like a glitch There was like a glitch where like I think the background music of Rogueport Sewers kept playing when I was in battle. This feels so wrong. TTYD ASMR. There we go. Let's see what happens now. Maybe it ends like right after, like where the Peach intermissions should start. Or like, I guess it cuts off. I'm guessing that's where it's gonna cut off. Or soft locked or whatever. Okay, now the music's playing. I don't know why it wasn't playing for the Hooktail battle, but it's playing the reunion music. It's funny how you could basically play all of well, I assume you could play the other parts of Chapter 1 if you, like, do other sorts of cheats and things, but basically, it's interesting, like, how most of Chapter 1 is here. And, I guess, no end of chapter music, either. So I guess it just played the reunion theme and nothing else. Oh, and I guess we could save? I guess it somehow allowed us to save? Oh, that looks off. And, yep, yeah, that's exactly where I thought it would soft lock. So anyways, that's an interesting look at a prototype of Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. If you want to learn more about this demo, there's some information on the cutting room floor, because there's even more cut content that isn't accessible when normally playing the demo. And if you want to play this for yourself, this was a part of the interactive multi-game demo disc version 18. I won't tell you how to access that, but that's what this demo was a part of. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!